Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I'm your host, A. Johnny Bakari, live right here on Goat James Kingdom channel on YouTube. You can also check me out in the Goat James Kingdom group in Facebook as we'll be going live there. I'll be putting the link up for those who want to join and have a conversation with me as I will be exposing some things tonight like I normally do. I want to thank everybody for joining me. As usual, we got our peoples that show support to Goat James Kingdom all the time. We want to thank every single last one of y'all. I see Straight Primo already commenting. Thank you so much. What's good? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is Goat James Kingdom. I'm A. Johnny Bakari, and this is Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. So we're gonna have some fun tonight. Let me go ahead and put the link up in the group chat, in the show chat. You guys let me know if it pops up there. Look like it's not. But y'all let me know. But we're going to have a good show because I got some stuff here that I wanted to talk about because we have Michael Jordan fans who love to bother us. And I mean really, really, really bother us. And I think it's time that we put some of this stuff to rest about some of these notions about him. You know what I'm saying? About Michael Jordan. They lie on him so much. They say so many things about him that's just not true. It's like everything that they say about Michael Jordan has to be a myth. It has to be a myth. Even the facts that they use, the way they talk about the facts is a lie. Like they talk about 6-0 as if 6-0 is the greatest ever. Just because you say Michael Jordan 6-0 and that's a fact doesn't mean that anything. It just means he won 6 championships. It doesn't make him the greatest player of all time because he has 6 championships. Or he never lost in the finals. Like that doesn't make you the GOAT. Those are the lies that we're talking about. And I've been trying to get a Jordan fan, just one, to show me a criteria where Jordan is the GOAT. Show it. Put it on paper, man. Give me anything, bro. I mean, anything at all. And I have yet to see it. It has yet to, it has yet to materialize from them. They do not come up with the material at all. And it's upsetting. Let me put this link up in the chat here. Give me a sec, y'all. But today I got some quotes from Michael Jordan talking about his teammates and talking bad about them and how they were not going to win a championship with the players that he had that eventually he won championships with. I mean, there's just so many things about Michael Jordan that these guys just don't want people to talk about, and that's why they get mad at me. And this is why I call myself the Exposer, because at the end of the day, I'm going to expose this stuff, man. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it because we can't even talk about basketball without Jordan fans coming in with lies and myth and being angry and calling people all kind of names because we appreciate LeBron James as a player. But tonight I'm going to bring you some good news and some good stuff that y'all can use. Some good quotes from back in the 90s. You feel me? So peace out to everybody that's in the chat right now. I'm trying to get the link back up. Something's going on with the streaming platform. It's not allowing me to put up the actual link. So I'm going to have to try to put it up another way here. Give me a sec here, y'all. But we have some folks that said they wanted to come join. You can easily join me and we can talk and have a conversation. I'm down. One-on-one. You ain't got to talk to nobody but me. I'm right here. So we can definitely, get to it. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and put it here in the chat. All right, here we go. All right, the link should be in the chat now. If anybody want to holler at me, you know where to get me at. But anyway, so like I was saying, the conversation with the GOAT conversation, it gets redundant with Jordan fans. They don't listen. And to be quite frank with you, they just don't have a criteria that makes Michael Jordan the GOAT. They have enough reasons to say why LeBron isn't the GOAT, but they don't have nothing to say why Michael Jordan is the GOAT. They can't bring up nothing. I've been asking for a criteria for the longest. They won't do nothing. They are crazy. You know what I'm saying? They are legitimately crazy when it comes to this conversation. And then they get mad at me, but I don't care. I really don't care, man. It got to a point to where I'm no longer giving them the benefit of the doubt. If you're a real basketball fan and you think Michael Jordan's the GOAT, then you should be able to talk basketball with us. We get Ralph every week to come on and talk to us and have a conversation. He thinks Michael Jordan's the GOAT. Craig thinks Michael Jordan's the GOAT. And Craig be saying some crazy stuff sometimes, but Craig does what he do. You know what I'm saying? And then you have like Travis comes on. And then we have some other guys that come on and claim that Jordan's the GOAT, but they don't have a criteria. They're yet to show us the criteria that says, okay, this is why Michael Jordan's the GOAT. You feel me? So y'all let me know if the link is showing up in the chat. It's actually not a poster, it's a vinyl. My son collect vinyls, so I take his vinyls out of his room. He gets upset, but he shows me love. Shout out to my boy. But he likes 90s rap music, and he likes today's rap music too, but he listens to 90s music. So let me see here. Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic. What's my favorite song? I ain't gonna lie, man. Back Down is really one of my favorite songs on there. Right now I can't really think off the top of my head. I can't remember, but there was definitely a song that's later in the album. It's definitely like one of the 10 or 12 song. Can't remember off the top of my head. I might as well just put it here. Right, it's right here. Yeah, it was Back Down was definitely one of them. Don't Push Me. That's the song. Don't Push Me. The one with Eminem. That was a dope track. Definitely a dope track. What's good? What's good, twin man? Y'all let me know if the link is actually showing. What's good, Anthony Davis? What's good, Anthony? What's good, man? Y'all let me know if the link is showing up, man. Where Craig and them at? Pull up. I don't know where Craig and them at yet, man. I don't know if Craig and them are here, man. Yeah, thanks, Straight Primo. But let me see here. Let me get to some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, because first I want to talk about how that at the end of the day, the real narrative about Michael Jordan is based on highlights and myths and reels that we've gotten from ESPN in the 2000s. All right, because in the 90s there was a different talk about Chicago Bulls, about Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and in the 80s it was even worse, as if we want to talk about criticizing Michael Jordan, or what they call hating on Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan going into the 90s was choking. He couldn't get past Detroit. They never thought he was going to get past Detroit. They never thought the Bulls were going to be good enough. There was a lot of talk because Michael Jordan was running to the media, telling people in the media about how Jerry Krause was a problem, how the team wasn't built good enough to win a championship, and how he needed more help, and that he was doing his thing, just like all his fans say. Everything his fans says is what he was basically saying. This is coming from Michael Jordan's mouth. No one else was thinking this. Everybody else was saying, yo, you're not going to win basketball playing that way, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't want to listen to that. He had thought that he could still win by playing the way he was playing, which was jacking up a bunch of shots, shooting the ball all day, every day. That's the realness about it. Yes, it's propaganda, like Twin Man said. It's pure propaganda. Pure propaganda. That's all it is. And at the end of the day, what you ended up having was Michael Jordan basically going to the media, talking bad about his players, going behind the scenes, because Jordan was a powerful media influence guy because he was very popular. So he was upset because in 1991 he wanted the Bulls to make trades. In 1989 he wanted the Bulls to make trades. In 1988 he wanted the Bulls to make trades. Y'all talk about LeBron James making trades and always looking for players. Jordan was doing the same thing. Just because there was no ESPN back there or back then or Bleacher Report and all of these sports medias that didn't exist. Back then it was only Sports Illustrated, like that's and newspapers. That's how you got your information. You feel me? So if you wasn't privy to getting newspapers from different cities, you didn't know what was going on. You didn't see all these quotes. You didn't see everything. This is not stuff that people saw on a day-to-day basis. We proved the other day on the show that they only had 20 games or so shown on television in 1992. That was all the national televised games in basketball. So these guys who be talking all the stuff that they talk it's all myth related. It's all fallacies. And they've been running for it for the last 2 decades. It's pure nonsense. Pure nonsense. What's good, y'all? I see Zero in the building. Shout out to Zero. What's good, man? Thanks for joining us. All right. I see everybody here. Shout out to Philip. Y'all don't see the link. Anybody let me know. Do y'all see the link? Twin Man, do you see the link? Y'all showing love to one another. Y'all don't see the link popping up. Let me see if I can get it up on another way. I can't believe that the link is not coming up. There's got to be a way for the link to show up. Oh, look at that. Let me see. Deposit it here. Deposit it here. Y'all let me know if the links show up. It says, what's good, what's good. I see y'all. I see everybody. Peace, y'all. What's good, Adrian? Okay, now it's there. Now it's there. All right, so now it's officially there. So we can get folks on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hold folks up all night, man. I don't want to hold folks up all night. But, let me get back to what I was saying about Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan was upset because by the trade deadline in 1991, Jerry Krause didn't make the right moves for Michael Jordan's sake. He was very upset. He was already upset that Phil Jackson was changing the offense. And I got some quotes here of what Michael Jordan said here. And he got mad. He got so mad that he went to the media about Jerry Krause and told him that he's going to get the guy fired. He was like, it's not over. He's going to get fired. Let me give you the exact quote that Michael Jordan said. And here we go. He goes here, quote, it says, I figured I tried to put pressure on him to do something about Krause. He's talking about going to Reinsdorf about Jerry Krause. Get my boy here, Diamond, in here. What's good, Diamond?
What's going on, man? What's happening?
It's good, man. I can hear you, man. Let me put this quote in right quick, and we gonna get to it. I'm glad to have you here. Let me get this quote in right quick, right? So this is in January of 91. They're on a road trip. They're in New Jersey. He goes, this thing isn't over. I'm gonna get that guy fired. You'll see. That's Michael Jordan's quote. He's basically talking about getting his GM fired in mid-season. Now, this is their championship season, and this is why this book was written. Because Sam Smith basically said that for all the stuff that was going on in the background during the Chicago Bulls' first championship season, it is a miracle that they actually won a championship. But all the stuff that was going on, with everything that was going on, they were still able to win a championship, right? And Michael Jordan gets upset, and he goes to Jerry Krause's house to go talk about this with Jerry. He goes to Jerry Reinsdorf's house to explain to Jerry Reinsdorf why Krause has to get up out of here. Michael Jordan explains how he plays golf with other GMs, and they all tell him how it's rough dealing with Jerry Krause. They don't like to deal with Jerry Krause, that no one wants to deal with Jerry Krause. So Jerry Reinsdorf reminds him, he's like, yo, we're in first place, quote. He said, Jerry's done some good things. He got Scottie Pippen, he got Horace Grant in the trade, and he got us the center, which is Cartwright. So basically he was telling Jordan, like, yo, he got us some players to help us win. You wanted a center, he got you a center. You wanted some help, he picked up Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, 2 good players. This is 91 now. Scottie Pippen is an all-star. He's going to be an all-defensive player that same year, and Grant came into form. He's an actual starter in the starting lineup, doing his thing. But Michael Jordan's upset and saying that these guys can't help him win a championship. And he's going to the media and telling the people in the media this. This is not rumors. This is not A. Johnny making stuff up. This is A. Johnny exposing things. This is why this is Friday Night Exposure. I'm exposing facts, real stuff that y'all don't want to talk about. What's good, Diamond?
What's good, man?
What's popping, brother?
Man, just, hey, glad to be on, man. I'm really feeling the topic, so I had to be the first one to click on in on this one.
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, y'all.
Listen, bro. The things that I'm getting out of this book is crazy because now I can see why they talked about it in The Last Dance, right? Because they talked about it how the book, when the book came out, it was controversy. It became a bestseller, and it really showed Jordan in a light that nobody didn't know back then. It was like I said, this guy who wrote this is an investigative reporter, a top journalist who's accredited, who's won awards for his work. Was working in the Chicago Tribune before Michael Jordan was even drafted to the Bulls and actually reporting on the Bulls before Michael Jordan was on the Bulls. So he had plenty of connections. He has plenty of people he can speak to and get facts. You feel me?
Yeah. And he had nothing to gain by lying neither. Like, you know what I mean?
No, he thinks Michael Jordan's the GOAT. And
Exactly.
So he's not saying it in a sense that discredit Michael Jordan. He like he said, that's my job as a journalist, is to bring light to things, and I'm gonna bring light to what I know or what was going on. So throughout 91, that championship run season, the Bulls, he documents every single thing for you to know what's going on. And this is the key thing that I got from the book is that, everybody was doing their own thing. Scottie was trying to get a new deal. Horace Grant was also trying to get a new deal. Eventually got a new deal that year also before the season started. Cartwright was saying how he wasn't even going to play with the Bulls anymore. He was on his last year deal. He thought his contract was up because he thought that he wasn't going to be able to sign with no one else because he wasn't getting enough, points, and he wasn't scoring. He wasn't, because Jordan was just hogging the ball. You know what I'm saying? Paxson was thinking the same thing. These were the older guys. And then they had a bunch of young dudes who didn't know what was going on. Stacey King wanted the ball more, and he wanted more time, but he couldn't get more time. Brad Sellers, Will Perdue, BJ Armstrong, all these guys are at it. And on top of all that, they're trying to pitch so that they can bring the top European player to come play on their team. And Michael Jordan doesn't even want to help them do that. Talk about Michael Jordan wants to win at all costs and wants to do all things. He wouldn't even help the Bulls bring Tony Kukoc in to help him win a championship. That's crazy, bro.
Super crazy.
They here go Omar. There go, look, here goes again. Look, the 6-0. It worked. No, it didn't work. It didn't work. That's not what made it work. That's what you guys don't understand. That's where the lies fall in at. That's where the lies fall in at right there. That's what they don't understand, bro. It's like, come on, man. Like, I got more. I got more. It's not even over with because Reinsdorf goes in on him about it because he was trying to say about getting another GM. He wanted to get, you remember, everybody, let me ask y'all a question. Who was the GM of the Washington Wizards when Michael Jordan was the president of operation?
Jerry Krause.
No, it wasn't Jerry Krause. Jerry Krause was still with
I know that.
it was Elgin Baylor, right?
Yeah.
Elgin Baylor, correct? That's who Michael Jordan hired, correct? Well, check this out. Michael Jordan was trying to get Elgin Baylor the job in Chicago for Jerry Krause, and Reinsdorf put him in his place. Reinsdorf says this. He said someone perhaps like Elgin Baylor, when Michael Jordan was saying that someone else could do a better job than Jerry Krause was doing. He goes, Baylor. He said Baylor was one of the game's all-time greats, but with the Clippers continue to sputter under the direction despite years of top draft picks. Basically saying he wasn't doing a good job as a GM back then with the Clippers. Had a bunch of top picks, wasn't picking up no Pippins, wasn't picking up no Grants, wasn't picking up no Armstrongs, wasn't finding no cool coaches. You feel me? Wasn't finding none of these gems, no Oakleys. These are Jerry Krause's draft picks. These are the people that Jerry Krause picked up in the draft. He picked up Olin Polanyi, who ended up having a decent career for an NBA player, and he ended up trading him for Scottie. So it shows you how good of a GM he was. Jerry Krause goes on to tell Michael Jordan that, at the end of the day, bro, you ain't helping. You're not helping us. Michael Jordan goes on to tell him all the bad things about players. He mentioned Scottie Pippen. He goes, this is what he says about Scottie Pippen. He goes, he hasn't shown up. He hasn't shown up for our two biggest games yet. And he's talking about Scottie Pippen. This is Scottie Pippen, the guys that y'all say he never says nothing bad about, that he never talked bad about. What's good, y'all? So these are quotes coming from Michael Jordan. Like y'all love to say, if this is all fake and all lies, why hasn't Michael Jordan sued this man? Michael Jordan is somebody that's very He's very cautious about his image and how he's perceived in the public eye. And he hasn't sued this man. This book has been out for over 30 years. This book came out in 1993. It's a bestseller. Still to this day, selling off the racks. Because it's a book about Jordan. We all know that. He goes on to talk about, he's like, yo, why are we spending all this time on Toni Kukoc? He's mad that they're trying to bring in the best European player to come play in the league. He thought Toni Kukoc couldn't help him win a championship. He talked bad about Purdue, about Armstrong. And guess who he wanted the Bulls to trade any one of these players for? He wanted Walter Davis.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Walter Davis was already in his 10th or 12th year at the time. Mind you, Walter Davis was a good scorer because what Jordan said he wanted scoring help. Why would Jordan want scoring help? For what, Jordan? Because he was saying that the Bulls would have a lead going into the fourth quarter and then the bench would come in and fuck it up. And he would have to go back out there and win the game for them. That was Jordan's excuse. That's what Jordan was saying. This is what I'm saying. This is what Jordan was saying. And that's what Jerry Krause had to tell him. Jerry Reinsdorf was telling him. He was like, yo, how hard is it going to be for Jerry Krause to make a deal when you're telling people how bad of a GM he is? That means when other GMs are thinking he's desperate. So they're gonna try to short sell him because they think he's just making a deal because you want him to. You see what I'm saying? But they don't talk about that. They don't because they don't do no real information. They don't do no real research. They're here. The Jordan fans are here, but they won't get on. The link's available. It's in the chat. If anybody want to get on, you can get on. But we can keep going.
They know they don't have nothing but 6-0. That's the only thing they're gonna come over here and say.
Here, this is what. You know the other player he wanted to get? He wanted to get Tony Campbell. Tony Campbell. Y'all don't even know who that is. He also wanted to get a guy that averaged 6 points per game that same season, LaSalle Thomas. Oh, my bad. LaSalle Thompson. These are the players that Michael Jordan was trying to get rid of Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant and them for. And now you see why he failed in Washington and why he failed as a Hornets executive. Because Jordan does not know how to view talent. He didn't even understand his own talent. He thought he was better than what he really was, and he wasn't that good. When we talking about what they're talking about in this book, we're gonna keep going. So this is what Reinsdorf tells him. He says, Jordan, well, you're not helping any. We're working on several deals, but every time you come out criticizing the general manager, it makes it look like Jerry has to do something, and that makes it harder on us. People start thinking we're desperate and want to take advantage of us.
Yeah.
This is quoting Reinsdorf. This is what the guy had to tell Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan didn't understand. You were just out there shooting a bunch of shots, making 30 points per game, and you thought that was good enough to be a champion. That's not what it took to be a champion. You had no idea what it took to be a champion, right? Reinsdorf goes on and he goes on. He tells him this. He says, "Imagine how this makes your teammates feels. What are they supposed to think when their captain says that we're not good enough? How are we supposed to get the most out of them? And then how are we supposed to make a deal when you're knocking your players? Are the other teams going to want them when you say that they're not good enough?"
He didn't care about that because he was a celebrity, you know. He could do no wrong.
He didn't care about that because he was spoiled. He was young. The Bulls were a young team. They didn't really have a good veteran presence besides Cartwright at the time. And they had just added Cartwright, but Jordan wanted to add more veterans. But Krause didn't want to give up draft picks. Krause understood what he was building. He understood what was going on. He didn't. You understand what I'm trying to say? He wasn't pressed because Michael Jordan didn't think so. You're the player. Go out there and play. You know what I'm saying? My job as the GM. I'm going to get the players. I'm going to set everything up right. He set up everything. He hired Phil Jackson without Michael Jordan wanting that. Michael Jordan did not want Doug Collins fired. That's the reason Doug Collins got fired because they knew they could bring in Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson was already an assistant coach, so it was just firing a coach and promoting somebody else. Simple thing. I ain't got to look for nobody. It's real easy.
Yeah.
But they don't. But they don't want to talk about this, brother. They don't want to talk about this. What they want to do is keep talking about LeBron James getting swept this year. LeBron James chasing some. I don't know what they talking about chasing. Still chasing whatever. Nobody want to hear that, bro. Nobody. LeBron's not chasing nothing. He surpassed Jordan. He surpassed everybody in the game. It keeps going, and basically he shut Jordan up. And basically, when Jordan went to Reinsdorf house to complain about Krause, he ended up leaving and pouting for days. The media saw it, his teammates saw it, his coaches saw it. Even Phil Jackson had to go to him and Beck and whatever. One of the coaches, Coach Bach, had to come talk to Jordan and find out. They're like, "Yo, you okay?" And Phil Jackson had to tell him, like, "Yo, you got to come out of your cage. The world needs their, the world needs it. Your team needs you." Jordan was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Straight crybaby.
Straight crybaby. All because he couldn't get the players that he wanted to get. Mind you, they're in first place. They're playing good basketball. They're looking good. Everything is going well. But he's afraid of Detroit because he knows he has to see Detroit. And in his mind, I need help versus Detroit. Somebody got to help me versus Detroit.
Yeah, that's why he wanted Walter Davis and LaSalle Thompson there, so they could go out there and play arch rivals. That's what he wanted. He wanted some arch rival teammates, man.
Yeah.
Go out there. He wanted the bad boy Bulls.
Yeah. So just to give you some more context about what Scottie Pippen was talking about and what Rodman was talking about and what we always talk about Michael Jordan during that era. This is a quote from David Robinson talking about how people compared him to Michael Jordan at the time and their style of basketball. And this is his quote. He said, "Michael is more of a non-basketball fan type player." He continues to say, "He always looks good out there, hanging, jumping, dribbling around. But if you know a lot about the game, you appreciate what I do more. It's more basic." End quote. That's David Robinson talking about Michael Jordan in 1991.
Yeah, and he wasn't lying.
Mm-hmm.
I said he wasn't lying. I mean, think about it. You know what I mean? Like I said, that Western Conference in that time was was a battleground for big men, man. You had Malone, you had Barkley, you had Robinson, you had all of the Hakeem, you had all the major big guys just battling for that Western Conference spot in the finals. You know what I mean? So all of the greats from that era, from the '84 draft all the way on through, it was basically just battling for a spot to get to the finals to play the Bulls. You know what I mean?
Well, Barkley was still in Philadelphia then, but
yeah, in '91 he was still in Philly. Yeah,
But still, at the end of the day, David Robinson was a star player coming out of college. He was on the gold medal team. I believe they won the gold medal in '88. If I'm correct.
Yep.
But he was definitely a freak of nature, right? He was one of those guys, and he was, he got his praise, but he was in San Antonio. Like I said, you're only going to get that quote if you were probably reading a San Antonio paper. You understand what I'm trying to say? That quote's not going to end up on ESPN. You're not going to see that quote if you were alive in 1991. I was alive then. You're not going to see it then. It's not going to be a quote that you see. You have to do investigative reporting to see that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't have the outlets then that we do now.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
That's why most people, like you say, casual fans, all they know is what we seen on NBA, NBC, what came on Sports Center every now and then. And even back then, basketball was at the bottom of the totem pole still, as far as sports. So you seen more baseball highlights than you did basketball highlights. Seen more football, NFL. Highlights. Yeah, you know what I mean?
And the highlights you saw was Jordan, because Jordan was that, like he said. Remember, listen to the quote. Pay attention to this quote. He said, "Michael is more of a non-basketball fan type of a player." So I remember saying this, and I think it was last week's show, a couple of weeks ago, that the casual basketball fan was created during Michael Jordan's era. He created a whole base of casual people who were never watching basketball prior to him, and now sit here and saturate the basketball world because he brought them to the basketball scene. But there was a whole basketball world prior to Michael Jordan that they know nothing about. They have no idea about. And then they just easily they just have little tidbits and things about it. They respect the 80s for its physicality. You know what I'm saying? The 70s, they basically just ignore the 70s. They say, yeah, there was 2 leagues. And in the 60s, the 60s, that don't count.
That was the Celtics league right there.
There was no 50s. The 50s didn't even exist. They don't even know nothing about the 50s. The 50s didn't even exist. That's like They don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't understand what's good, Chris. They don't understand. So again, these are the things that, like, I tell people, like, man, I'm not a Michael Jordan hater. I just hate the fact that y'all lie so much about him, and then y'all get mad when people just talk about him normally.
You
None of
just hit
this
the
takes
nail
away
on
none of
the
it,
head, bro.
huh?
That's how I feel. I love Michael Jordan. People look at my posts and my things I say and think that I hate Michael Jordan, think that I don't respect his game. I loved Michael Jordan just like everybody else. I had the shoes. I wanted to be like Mike. I was out there drinking Gatorade and all that bullshit, man. Because I was sold on it, just like everybody else, man. And like another thing I was gonna say too, going on into what you was just talking about too. A lot of people don't know that they use Michael Jordan highlight tapes to sell Michael Jordan to the world. Them people in other countries, they never seen a basketball game. All they saw was Michael Jordan jumping, sticking his tongue out, hitting, dunking on people, doing all of that shit. And then all of a sudden, and then that's how he became a worldwide phenomenon because off of highlight tapes, not showing that they thought he never lost. They thought he was like Jesus. They, you know,
Yeah,
that's what the
I mean,
whole.
it was beautiful though. Michael Jordan's game was beautiful. We can't argue that. Like,
Oh
nobody,
yeah,
and that's why I say you can't take that away. Nobody's trying to take that away from him. But we have to understand the truth. Like they would like to say, let's bring in context, which is additional information. Context is additional information for you to get a better understanding, not to change what we're just being said. You understand what I'm trying to say? So when we're talking about Michael Jordan's greatness, it still exists, even though he was a bad teammate, even though he was a bad leader. He still was a great basketball player, but it didn't translate to the team success because he didn't play team basketball. And that's what folks don't understand. You see what I'm trying to say? And his team was able to win in spite of him playing that way. They were able to utilize him correctly. That's why you have a good coach like Phil Jackson who can do something like that for you. Because without that, you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? But like a perfect example, like this guy just said here. Here goes Adrian. He says, "Hey Johnny, the thing is nobody ever said things were perfect behind the scenes. Yes, y'all do. Y'all say everything about Michael Jordan's perfect. 6-0 means perfect. You could say this for any team actually. Exactly, you can. But if I told you that there was some turmoil on the 2011 Heat, you're gonna tell me that's excuses. But if I tell you Jordan lost in 1990 for the same thing because there's turmoil and Jordan don't know how to get his teammates going, you're gonna say, "Oh no, that's me bringing down Jordan, discrediting Jordan." You see what I'm saying? They don't want to accept that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, David Robinson does have Michael Jordan as the GOAT. That's fine. But I ask you again, why? How? What did you calculate? Are you just saying he's the GOAT because you that? Have we asked David Robinson lately? Has he said lately? Because has he seen LeBron James? You saying what he said 15 years ago, 10 years ago? I can't. That's what gets me with these people, bro. That's what get me with them, bro. But,
It's a
Dom,
double standard, man. It's a
yeah,
double standard. That's the biggest problem. Is a double standard, man.
yeah. I got somebody waiting to come in. You want to ask me something before I let them in, and I'm gonna let you go.
Hmm? Oh yeah, I just want to say one last thing. I'm glad you just brought up 1990, man.
Mm-hmm.
People totally neglect that, man. That man lost Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals by 19 points. That to me is worse than getting swept in the finals. You had a chance to get there using the Game 7, and you didn't even get in there. You lost by 19. Come on, man.
Got
That's
blown
that
out.
is
Yeah, you got blown out. It wasn't even close. You got blown out. Yeah, I
in
scored 30.
game 7 now.
Yeah,
Like
he scored 31 points, but he had 27 shots to do that. So yeah, you're
Yeah, I
right. He
mean,
did.
31 points. That's what he averaged for his career, man. So that's not impressive, man. That don't really. He averaged 35 the year before. So I mean, don't get me wrong. We got players that's putting up 31 now who you never even expect. Austin Reeves can put up 31 points.
No,
So
you're right. No, it's a game 7. You should be doing more than what you normally do. Your output should be more than your normal output. It should have been, and you average more in the playoffs. That doesn't even count in the playoffs. You were averaging more. So 31 is actually below your average of what you was doing in the playoffs. So good job bringing that up, Diamond. But let me bring up Anthony, and we'll talk soon enough,
all
bro.
right, for sure, man.
Yeah,
Good
thanks for
position,
joining
man.
me, man. Y'all holler at Diamond West, man. Y'all already do because his post be hitting 2 million people. You know that, right? 2 million people your post done hit, bro.
Yeah,
Appreciate you, man.
you see the one I just did today?
Yeah, but bro, every time you come on, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it, man. You're a group expert. You the man, bro. You the man.
Oh
You're
yeah,
official.
appreciate you, man. I'm a key. I got some more coming this week. I got some even better ones coming. So yeah, stay tuned.
All right, so I'm gonna holler at you, man. I'm gonna bring somebody else on.
All right, for sure.
All right, bro. What's good, Anthony?
What's going on, bro? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Thanks for joining me. What's good, man? It's a Friday night exposure, baby. You feel me? You got the notes? You got your notes?
Yeah, man. I've been listening, and I'm doing daddy duty, so I got much time. I wanted to jump on. First of all, to support what you're doing, to make sure that that for Friday night you got your audience out here want to be there supporting what you got going on. But everything that you're saying is important. It's I read that book some time ago. And everything that you're quoting is the stuff I've been saying for a long time. But if you just look at Jordan's career and especially the early days, from his rookie year to his fourth year, he did a lot of losing, man, in the playoffs, bro. It's a lot of losing. We could talk about that 9 out of 10 he lost in the first 3 years. But even the fourth year, the year that he had the Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, scoring title, steals title, All NBA first team, All NBA second team. He barely gets by Cleveland. We've talked about this on your Sunday show. Mm-hmm. But of course, as we get to the second round, he loses in 5 games real easy. So when you think about those first 4 years, those tough teams in the 80s, whether it's Milwaukee, Boston, or Detroit, when you look at his record against those 3 teams, right? You're talking about a 2-13 record in those first 3 years, right? So he's not moving the needle when it comes to winning. He's not when Scottie Pippen says he's a horrible player, that's what he's talking about. You got 15 games against those top teams. You're not moving the needle, and it's not until Scottie becomes a starter in '89 that you start to see, and Horace Grant, that you start to see the Bulls start to make noise in the playoffs in terms of the Eastern Conference Finals, 89, 90, and of course 91. And it's not until Scottie becomes this major player in 91. Mm-hmm. So then when you look at those 3 years when they win championships, cool, right? You want to give Jordan a lot of credit, but when he retires, I keep saying Pete Myers is his replacement in 94. Pete Myers is a journeyman player, right? He's averaging 7 points a game in 25 minutes, and the Bulls still win 55 games. Scottie, of course, is top 3 MVP, All NBA first team, All Defense first team. Horace is an All-Star, all Defense second team, and they've maintained that level of winning. But when you look at the full context, the primary reason why the Bulls were contending the way they were was Grant and Pippen. That's what it was. Give them anybody else other than Pete Myers. What are they doing, right? And I think a lot of times people want to give Jordan this level of credit when it's like the evidence doesn't point to that. But when you talk about when LeBron is on any team, he's always moving the needle. If it's a Detroit in 2006, he's pushing that team to 7 games. LeBron against Detroit, I think in the semifinals, they're going 7 games. LeBron against Detroit in 2007, he's beating them in 6 games. In 2008, he's facing the big 3 Celtics, pushing them to 7 games. Michael is not competing on that level when he doesn't have the star players. He doesn't make it happen. He doesn't move the needle. Pippen and Grant were the guys making it happen. So when Pippen is talking that talk, this is why. Go ahead. You muted, bro. You muted.
With all that you just said, right? With all that you just said.
Yeah.
Do you think what you're saying is a knock on Michael Jordan?
No, it's not a knock. It's not a knock. His skill set.
You're not knocking Michael Jordan by saying that Michael Jordan didn't have the same winning impact as LeBron James.
No, I'm not.
That's what you're saying.
I'm not.
The reason I'm asking because that's what they're saying. By you saying that, what you said, everything you're saying, I agree with you, right? I agree with you. But I'm just saying, do you understand that to them, that's knocking Michael Jordan?
Right, because it disrupts the narrative of him being the superhero. Right, the superhero. He's not the super. He is cherry on top of the cake. Right, his skill set complements what they're doing. But Dennis Rodman said Michael couldn't do it by himself. Scottie did all these other things. Phil Jackson said that. Other guy, John Sally said that. Other guys have said that. Stacey King said that. No one refutes anything that Scottie is saying. They're all confirming and affirming what he said, right? No one is saying this is crazy. The facts don't say that he's crazy, right? But for whatever reason, it's the narrative that if Michael was that guy, we would have seen something the first 3 years. We're talking about that great rookie of the year. We're talking about the 63-point game. We're talking about the third year with 37 points a game. Doesn't mean anything. The 88 MVP year, it doesn't do anything. He's not moving the needle, especially against Milwaukee, Boston, Detroit, right? And when you think about that 88 Detroit team, that wasn't no super team. When you think about Joe Dumars at 6'3", 14 points a game, I think, Adrian.
I tell him that that 88 team that Jordan faced had one All-Star. That's it. They had no All-NBA players, no All-Defensive players. Now you can say, oh, there's only 2 teams, but it doesn't matter. They didn't have any. And they had some veterans because they did have Dantley, they did have Isaiah, they did have Vinnie Johnson. They had a Lambeer. So they had some guys that were veteran players. But Jordan, again, I keep telling people, why was Jordan and all the things that Jordan did that year, why didn't Jordan step up that series? He averaged 27 points per game that series. To them, that's great. He averaged 27.
Yeah. One more thing. If you look at the Milwaukee series in 85, the Boston series in 86, the Boston series again in 87, the Detroit series in 88, in the closeout game, or the elimination game, I should say, in each of those elimination games, look at Jordan's performances. You're talking about 19 points in one instance, a 9 for 30 shooting game in another instance. He's not getting it done in those elimination games. Check out each of those elimination. I think he had another 6 for 18 in there. He's not getting it done when his teams need it, right? But again, when I look at LeBron in 2006, he's down 0-2 to Detroit, won 64 games, right? They had that team with Chauncey Billups and everybody else and Rip Hamilton, whoever. They won 64 games. The Cavs are down 2-0, and Cleveland rips off 3 straight wins, right? They weren't expected to beat that team. But LeBron, by virtue of LeBron being on the team, you challenge a great Detroit team in 06 or a great Boston team in 08. Think about that same Boston team annihilated Kobe in the finals in 2008. But LeBron pushed that team to 7. It took a Herculean Paul Pierce effort to beat LeBron in that game 7. But that's the greatness of LeBron. That's what he does. But when you look at series for series, his ability to win series, when he said he played more games than Jordan in the playoffs, he didn't play more years. The reason he played more games is because he won more games.
Yeah, they don't get that. They don't get that. No, they don't get that. For you to play more games in the playoffs, you actually have to win more.
Win more.
That's the facts. That's just the facts. And they don't get it because they give Jordan passes for that. Jordan get passes because it wasn't his time, which is so funny. I wonder, when is your time? You know what I'm saying? Like that. Those are all the myths and the narratives that just bothers me. It disturbs me to the nth degree, bro. But I'm gonna you were cooking. The chat line is going crazy, y'all. Y'all hear Anthony? Listen, the man's been watching the game as long as anybody here, longer than I have. So never gonna argue with you, bro. I appreciate everything. I appreciate everything you're doing. You brought some exposure right here to these big dudes. They don't understand. It's not knocking Jordan. It's just showing Jordan in the light that y'all show LeBron. LeBron is great, but so is Jordan. But y'all, we want to just act like Jordan has no flaws. And we're going to bring up all his flaws because y'all don't want to bring it up. So let me bring up Twin Man, because Twin Man's going to want to break it down too. So thanks, Anthony, man.
Yes, sir.
Good night, brother.
All right, bro.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, that was Anthony, y'all. Anthony Davis, man. Y'all can check him out, my man. We got my boy Twin Man here. Where's Twin Man? Oh, he just left. Twin Man, you gone? You can get back on if you want to, man. I see y'all in there arguing, man. Yes, LeBron James' impact is crazy. And the reason LeBron James has such an impact is just why any other ball facilitator has an impact. If you look back in NBA history, all great ball facilitators have an impact on winning, because it just makes your team play better. It's a team sport. So you have to have somebody who can get your offense going. It's like having a quarterback. Without having a quarterback, you cannot have an offense in football. Without having a ball facilitator, you're not going to have a good offense. You're not going to be able to do things. And LeBron James and ball facilitators like him, Magic, Bird, CP3, John Stockton, I can go on and on. These guys were all winners because they were great at ball facilitating, getting their offense to going. Steve Nash. These guys are winners. These are winners because they know how to get the ball movement. Tim Duncan, it's the same thing. Tim Duncan understood I don't have to score 20 points a night for my team to win. I can do all the little things here and there. What's good, Twin Man? You muted. You ready?
Oh, I'm always ready. I just got kicked for a second, but you already know what it is for me. It has always been, and it's hard to follow up the breakdown that Anthony just put on the table, but I'm going to try my best. It has always bothered me that the projection of it all. LeBron's a stat patter. When Jordan for 7 years stat padded until he got Scottie Pippen. You see what I'm saying? Until he started actually getting his team, he was a stat patter. Only thing he could do was fill up the score sheet, fill up the stat sheet. And what did that get him? Nothing. He did not win. He made the playoffs by default, but somehow, some way, we need to hold LeBron James 2 years against him for not making the playoffs. It's always been projection. Somehow, some way, LeBron James is a crybaby, but you have the Bulls organization and Michael Jordan himself complaining to the league about the physical play. But somehow, some way, we got to knock today's NBA for being soft. It's never made any sense to me. We want to talk about LeBron wanting trades when, again, you pointed out, Jordan always wanted the best players. He had arguably the best two-way player ever in Scottie Pippen. You had arguably the greatest rebound ever in Dennis Rodman. You had the best international player at the time in Tony Kukoc. Statistically, you had the best three-point shooting with B.J. Armstrong and Steve Kerr and Paxton. Then you went and got Ron Harper from the Charlotte Hornets. Why are we acting like Jordan played with some bums? And now if you don't do it the way Jordan did it, somehow, some way you can't be the GOAT when Jordan had the best players on his team. Yes, he didn't get a Clyde Drexler. Yes, he didn't get a Charles Barkley. And they love to sit here and say these players would have never teamed up. That's because they couldn't. They didn't have the freedom of movement. Their CBA didn't allow them to just sit here. Only certain players could demand trades. Jordan would have left if they didn't give him what he wanted. Specifically, the money he wanted. Not even the players. The money he wanted.
I got the quote here. I would have to find it, but I got the quote of Jordan saying that he was leaving the Bulls, that he was saying 5 more years. That was like in 89 or 88. He was basically saying that when his contract was over, he was gone. That was it. He was not going to come back.
Right. And if they didn't give him the players he wanted and the money he wanted, he'd have bounced. This, again, it all comes, the projection of it all is what kills me. Because like Anthony said,
he can get traded. He went to his agent about being traded, but they shut it down quicker than me. Ain't trading Jordan at all. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Go ahead, though.
But it kills me because now that players, it's a more player empowered league. Now the league is terrible. No, you want to know why the league? You want to know? I have to blame LeBron for this. It is LeBron's fault why the league is the way it is now. Because he was able to dominate with mediocre teams. They had to put teams together to beat him. Let's be real here. That Boston team was put together to stop LeBron James. Period. But then they got mad at him for going to Miami. Sitting here saying he started the super team era. Who was the super team of the 80s and the 90s? I believe it was Boston, LA, and the Bulls. Oh, I forgot Detroit. I just named 4 super teams if you want to count on super teams. They love to sit here and say the most Hall of Famers came from the 90s and the 80s. But now all of a sudden there wasn't no super teams back then. It's the projection for me. That's why I can't stand it.
It's because this is why. One, they didn't watch it. They weren't there to really see it. Even if you were alive like I was, most of the time you were too young or you just wasn't paying attention. You didn't have access to all this information. So that's why now you can just create myths and live off of them. So that's what they're basically living off of. Like you said, this is just propaganda. They're all living off of this stuff that's not true. And now that we're saying these things, it's like we're lying because they believe in a fallacy. They believe in
Right.
stuff that does not exist. It
Do
never
they realize in the 80s, Jordan was seen as a dude who wasn't getting it done?
Come up, Florida boy. Hold on. Come up, Florida boy. It's all G here, man. Listen, this is what I'm here for. If you want to have a one-on-one, when Twin Man is done, you can come up and we can get it on. It ain't
In the
about being a
80s,
fan. It's
in the
about doing
80s,
basketball. Go ahead.
in the 80s, and this is fact, Jordan was seen as a dude until he broke through as a dude who couldn't get it done. Yes, they gave him his flowers for being able to high fly and score and all that. Yes, they did that. But he wasn't seen as a dude who could get it done. Because you know why? He couldn't get the best out of his teammates. But somehow, some way, Jordan's this all-time great leader. That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous, bro. And when you go back and look at it, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
No, it is. And like I tell people, I got to the point to where at first I thought, you know what, I could talk to people and they would understand, but I realized some cats are not. That's why they don't want to come on, because at most of these dudes just trolls. They just want to call you, insult you, talk bad about you. It's the high school table stuff. Oh, you can't be at my table, blah 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 blah. But they're like, it's like I said, it's like believing in Santa Claus. It got to the point where I started realizing that these are dudes that it's like telling your child Santa Claus don't exist. That I'm the one who's buying the gifts for you. You still get the gifts. And nothing changed. Michael Jordan's still great, but you just upset that it's not the same. It's not wrapped in the foil paper you want it to be.
Exactly. It's not this. It's not like I constantly said since I found this channel. It's not this what they have in their head. It was 5-on-1. Jordan was floating through the air the entire time, walking on water, beating teams by himself. No, you had Horace Grant, you had Scottie Pippen, you had B.J. Armstrong, you had Paxton. You had a team, bro. You had a great team. So to pretend like Jordan didn't have this great team around him to win is ridiculous.
What's it called? Trolling in the comments right now. Zero.
What is he saying?
You know what it is? Zero. Listen, let me show you right now. It's gonna pop up right here. Look what he wrote right here. Look what he wrote. Said, listen, Twin Man. Michael Jordan only needed one other star to win. Have you heard that before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, Horace Grant was a star. Scottie Pippen was a star. Dennis Rodman was a star. Tony Kukoc was a star.
Michael Jordan never allowed a game 7 in the finals.
Well, of course you're not going to allow a game. This is what kills me. They get on LeBron for beating on a weak East. They put no context on it. They don't want to talk about how all the players coming into the league and all the players in the East that were great ran West. They don't want to talk about that. That's number one. Number two, they also don't want to talk about the mediocre competition that Michael Jordan played in the finals. I'm sorry. The competition was mediocre. The best team he played was the Utah Jazz. Then the Utah Jazz.
You know what? To be surprised, I'm not going to lie to you. The best team he actually did play was the Portland Trailblazer team.
I can't give him that, bro.
It was. They
bro.
They had made the finals 2 years prior to that. They were the only team to actually make the double finals besides that Utah team, which, to be honest with you, that Utah team was not that good. They were only able to make the finals that year because at that time, the NBA was even more watered down. And that's why they were
that's kind of true.
It was way much more good. Because even think about this, didn't the Denver Nuggets beat Seattle in 95 and they were the number 1 seed? They had 3 all-NBA players. And they lost, right? That was the series where this guy's holding the ball on the floor, right? With Mutombo, right? Didn't he beat them?
I think so.
You know what I'm saying? So that it was a lot of shaking going on. Mutombo had left and went to Atlanta,
right? By
97. You see what I'm saying? So there was a lot of shift changes going on in the West. You know what I'm saying? They added the Vancouver Grizzlies. They were the Vancouver Grizzlies had a bad record from 96, 97, 98. They were one of the worst teams throughout the NBA.
But can you imagine LeBron James in the 90s? I need a small forward in the 90s that's going to be able to stand in front of LeBron James.
What up, Bill?
I need a small forward that's going to be able to do it without fouling.
Not one.
Exactly.
One. And even if you can, like I tell people, how are you going to hand check LeBron? You can't put your hands on him. He's too big. He's too fast. He could dribble. It's like you're not going to be able to do nothing. That one-on-one stuff is over.
Right.
They would just do what they do with Giannis, spread the floor, and he's going to go to left or right. Whoever you decide to double, it's a wrap for you. Like I tell you, don't even start with that like that would be exposing.
Barbecue chicken all
Florida
day.
boy, the link is in the link is in the chat line, bro. I think I know who you are from my Instagram. What's good, bro, man? Come on, man. Let's talk.
It's just funny because again,
man, you a hater, twin. You a pure.
I'm not a hater. I need to know where I'm lying. Where was Scottie Pippen lying? When he said he was a horrible player, he wasn't talking about the man's skill. He was talking about how the man was playing. He was about self. And you can't win you don't play championship basketball being for self. You just can't do it.
He said that the 2010s was trash.
Bullshit.
Oh my God. And as usual, zeros.
Hold up. I want that dude to tell me the powerhouse teams of the 90s. Because I can count on one hand the powerhouse teams of the 90s.
It's there. The 90s? Oh, I already showed them there's no powerhouse team of the 90s.
If you want to call them powerhouse teams, it was the Bulls, Knicks, Indiana, Orlando, Houston.
None of them. The powerhouse team of the what Knicks team? What Knicks team was that? The 94 Knicks?
Pretty much. I'm talking. I like to call them my Rikers Island Knicks with Patrick Ewing, Anthony Mason, and Charles Oakley. I call them those are my Rikers Island Knicks.
The link's right there, bro. The link, click the link. It's right there. It says Go James Kingdom Show. The link is right there. Everybody can see it, right? I see it. The Suns were in the West, Bill. My boy Bill's in the house.
The Suns weren't really a powerhouse, though.
I mean, when they got Barkley, they were really a good team. And then the next season, I don't know what happened to them. Like I said, that they started floundering. That's why Houston was able to win. It was the NBA had expanded very much. NBC and ESPN were keeping us filled. They had rivalries. Magic was gone. Bird was gone. It was all the stars. Kareem was gone. All the stars were gone. Even Jordan was gone for 94, 95. They had to build stars.
Jordan's the GOAT, literally off of pure media hype, push, and propaganda. Because if you look at the man's career, I'm sorry, it's great. Not going to pretend like it's not great, but his career does not make him the best. The argument that he did it in a short amount of time is bullshit when you put context on it.
Yeah. You got to go to YouTube. You got to watch the show. It's on YouTube. You got to be on YouTube if you want to join the show. No,
it's just bullshit when you put context on it.
Yeah, no, listen. Again, the context isn't hating. I know they sitting here saying that we hating on Jordan. I mean, it's just understanding that the reasons that they claim Michael Jordan's the GOAT are what we're saying Jordan never really had. So basically, we're saying Jordan never was the reason why the Bulls won.
Nope.
His 30 points per game wasn't why they won. I argue with them too, because the other day somebody was telling me what were the reasons the Bulls got out of the first round in 1988. Michael Jordan being all defensive first team and all NBA first team and the scoring champ, or Scottie Pippen 7.9 points coming off the bench. And I said, wait a minute, what does him being the all NBA, all defensive team have to do with him in the playoffs? How does that help you in the playoffs?
It doesn't. Do they realize Jordan was filling it up from the moment he got on the court and he couldn't get out the first round until he got Scottie Pippen? That's what I don't understand. He was filling up the bucket. He was already great coming into the league and couldn't get anywhere until he got Scottie Pippen. So he could have scored 100 points a game. What would have mattered if you're not playing, again, team basketball, if you're a selfish player, if you're taking 80% of the shots? Again, how does that help your team? You can fill up, you can stat pad, as they say LeBron does. He could stat pad all he want. How is that helping his team? It wasn't getting him out the first round. He was getting bounced.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, right? They claim Michael Jordan has to take those shots, and Philip brought up a great thing. Jordan fans disrespect Wilt Chamberlain, and Wilt Chamberlain was the same player that Michael Jordan was. Jordan didn't have to face a Boston Celtics Bill Russell.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when you say Jordan taking all these shots to them, Jordan's supposed to take all those shots because Jordan didn't have nobody to take the shots. And the reason they believe that is because that's what Jordan believes. And that's what Jordan was telling the media behind the doors who was running around and saying it for Jordan. You see
What's
what
the biggest
saying?
knock? What's the biggest knock on LeBron? He talks crap about his teammates. People really don't think Jordan was talking. He punched Steve Kerr in the face in practice. He punched Steve Kerr in the face. Like, are we serious right now? And is proud of it.
And look, and this is the thing here. Look, he said, look, LeBron ain't make the playoffs in the first 2 seasons. This is what they do, right? This is what they say because
Jordan only made it on a technicality.
Exactly, on a technicality. Basically, because the league added an extra round, and his team was
they needed more teams.
His team was on the bottom half, worst teams in the league, and he was still making the playoffs because of it.
So let's stop acting like Jordan was killing it and he had this big time record. No, he made it by default.
And LeBron won more games his first 2 regular seasons than Jordan did his first 2 seasons. Or the Bulls won their first 2 seasons. And while
you won better. Not only did he, they came in both of their times. Jordan came on the worst team. You could say one of the worst teams in the league, the Bulls. How many wins did he increase the Bulls? Not that many.
Yo, oh my God!
How many more games did the Cavaliers win the moment LeBron stepped on the court? His first 2 seasons.
I think the Bulls went from 20. I think they won 11 more games. I think it was like 26 games. They won 37 games or something like that. 27 games, and they won 38 his first season. But I believe with LeBron it was 17 games.
I was gonna say LeBron won 17 more games. Yeah. Just his presence on the court. 17 more games.
I gave you the link, bro. The link is in the chat. I don't know why you can't see it. It says Go James Kingdom. He clicked the same link that you clicked. I'm actually about to get off the show soon, so you guys probably gonna have to come do this again next week. But here goes another one. He says Jordan had to face Larry Bird Celtics better than Russell Celtics. False. They were not better than.
They were not better than Russell Celtics.
And your second falseness is this: why is Michael Jordan the 8th seed? You guys keep excusing him. LeBron's never the 8th seed. LeBron's never been the 8th seed.
Why was Jordan in the lottery? Why was Jordan still in, since Jordan's the GOAT? Why was he still having to get lottery picks?
Lottery picks. Exactly. Jordan was the 8th seed for 3 seasons in a row. Why was Jordan in 1987 the 8th seed? I'll give him a pass for 86 and 85. He was a rookie in 85. 86 he didn't play.
Nope.
1987.
No.
No.
I'm giving him no passes, bro. I give him no passes. He is the GOAT. He's the greatest leader ever. He's the greatest leader ever. According to them, he got the most out of his Hall of Fame teammates. You see what I'm saying? He got the most out of his Hall of Fame teammates.
No, listen.
Why didn't he get the most out of his mediocre teams when he got to the Bulls? The way LeBron was able to.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to explain to them. You're giving him a pass for that, right? You're giving
exactly.
I'm going to 87. In 87, the Bulls shouldn't have only won 40 games. Yeah, I think that's what they won. They won 40 games in 87. That's a 2-game difference from what they won when Jordan was a rookie. So Jordan averages 28 points per game and has 7 and 8 rebounds, 6 or 7 assists per game in his rookie season. Or something like that, 5 assists in his rookie season, the 37 points per game, which they always think him scoring more points means more winning. It only got him 2 more wins.
Exactly.
And then there's another thing. Then the next season, they do get Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant. They end up winning 50 games, right? Then they turn over the offense to Michael Jordan even more in 89. They drop and they lose more games. They go down to 47 games in 89. After giving him more of the ball, that's the season where he averaged 32, 8, and 8. Right. And at the end of the day, they were talking about that's the triple-double season where he was averaging a triple-double. He was the point guard. That was the multifaceted. It's supposed to be Michael Jordan. They ended up losing more games by doing that than the season prior to that with a more healthy Scottie Pippen, because Scottie Pippen had a back issue as a rookie in 88. That's another thing that people don't bring up. This guy here asks why Scottie Pippen doesn't win in 94 against the Knicks. Why Jordan never won against nobody? Why are you guys expecting Scottie Pippen swept the team in the first round. Right. Jordan never swept nobody without Scottie Pippen. What's Jordan sweep without somebody?
Jordan didn't get out the first round without Scottie Pippen. We're gonna kindly overlook that to sit here and say Scottie Pippen didn't get it done by himself. Like if you take a player who averaged 30 points off a team, that's not gonna, and it didn't even hurt the team. It didn't even hurt the team. That's the crazy part.
Listen.
That's the crazy part. I think they lost one less game. They won one less game the year before, some shit like that. It didn't even really hurt the team as much. And then what happened? Scotty balled out. Horace balled out. Kerr balled out. Why did all their point averages increase with Jordan not there? What does that tell you?
No, that tells you that they all get the ball. They all love playing with Scottie Pippen. They all, and you know what? Scottie Pippen said it best too, right? Remember what Scottie Pippen said, and again, a lot of them didn't hear that. When Scottie Pippen said in the interview, I don't remember no free agents wanting to come to Chicago while Jordan was there, right? And here it is. You have Jerry Reinsdorf telling us that, yo, you're making it hard for us to get people to come play for us because you talk about players like they're nobodies. You see what I'm saying? And I was telling somebody this the other day. I'm going to finish this with this twin man. We're going to get going because I want to end my night. I'm going to go chill and enjoy myself. I told somebody the other day that the only reason Michael Jordan actually got along with Scottie Pippen because he realized Scottie Pippen was a better defender and a better basketball player than him. Jordan only respects players that are better than him. Or that he
I believe Jordan realized for him, because I'm not about to sit here and say Jordan wasn't a great defender. He really was. Mm-hmm. But he knew he didn't have to take the tough assignments every night. He knew he can give that to Scotty so he could save himself on offense. He knew he had Cartwright or Longley down there to grab rebounds.
No, he didn't think so. See, that's what I'm saying. He didn't think Grant was good enough. He didn't think Cartwright was good enough. None of those guys. That was his problem. In his mind, those guys couldn't do nothing good. There was nothing. Scotty, to him, eventually he thought Scotty was soft. That's what I always tell people. He's called Scotty soft. Scotty have no heart. Scotty's a little clumsy or whatever or immature. But he always respected Scotty's game. You see what I'm trying to say? But those other guys, he didn't respect their game. Like the thing with Kobe was Kobe didn't care how you played. Kobe cared how you worked. Kobe wanted to see that you were going to work at your craft. If you showed Kobe that, he was going to trust you enough to play with you. Jordan didn't care how hard you worked. Jordan didn't care what you did. If Jordan thought you didn't play basketball good enough, you just wasn't good enough. And he would just
I believe Jordan could have won 8 championships if his mindset was different coming into the league. If he actually was playing team, because he played team basketball in North Carolina. He got to the Bulls and was just like, I'm going to show up and show out. And like you said, he just had this mindset like my teammates was no good. If he has a different mindset coming into the league, he probably has 8 championships. He probably does.
Now, I know if LeBron was in the 90s, they have 10. If LeBron was drafted in 1985, the Bulls start winning championship from 1988 on.
I believe it. I believe that because
straight up and down.
Let's be real here. Can you imagine LeBron James and Scottie Pippen on the same team?
No, forget about it.
Can you just imagine LeBron James?
Can you imagine LeBron James having Jerry Krause as a GM?
That would be amazing. Like people get mad at him because he had D Wade and Bosh on the team. Okay.
This guy's making excuses. He said you guys are clueless. Pippen beat the 94 Cavs because they were out Brad Daugherty and Rod Williams. Okay, whatever. All excuses. I'll say all excuses. Where was Jordan's wins? Again, Jordan could have played 99 and beat somebody without Scottie Pippen. He could have had the same championship team that he won a championship with for 3 straight years. He just would have been without Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen. He would have been the GOAT. He was the league MVP. He's better than Scottie. So don't tell me you have less expectations for Jordan in 99 as the MVP than you have of Scottie Pippen in 1994.
Of course, bro. Because again, it's always going to be an excuse for Jordan. First things first, I can't get over the fact that they try to say Steph Curry is better than LeBron James. I'll be like, okay, so Larry Bird must be better than Jordan since, Jordan never beat Larry in a playoff game. And then it's all kinds of excuses. Well, Larry Bird had this team around him. I believe LeBron James pushed that team with his second and third option, not on the floor, and he took 2 games off of them. Did he not?
He did.
Jordan couldn't get a game off of Larry Bird. So I need to hear the excuse off of that. But I'm going to get off. I believe I've made my point. It's pure propaganda, bruh. The media hype for Jordan and the media push for Jordan is evident. And the only thing we have to do now is get past that bullshit and actually do what they tried to do to LeBron. And that's put context on this man's career. He couldn't get nowhere without Scottie Pippen. You couldn't get out the first round without Scottie Pippen.
That's why they hate Scottie Pippen, man. That is Twin
That's just
Man,
the
y'all.
truth.
That is Twin Man. You want to, you listen, y'all want to talk to Twin Man? He shows up on Sunday shows. It ain't one-on-ones versus y'all and other people. This is a Johnny Bakari show. This is for me. This is the exposure. This is Friday night exposure. And I let Twin Man come up on here, and I let people come up on here to talk to me. And he just exposed y'all, man. He exposed y'all for not knowing the truth about Michael Jordan, not accepting that Michael Jordan's a great basketball player, but he is not the player that y'all say he is. That's the facts, bro. I appreciate.
He's not. I don't care. I don't care how many compliments Larry Bird paid him. Guess what? If he was Jesus in sneakers, Larry Bird must have been his father and must have been God.
Ain't nobody no damn Jesus. Jordan ain't saved nobody's life. He ain't saved nobody's life. So, but I appreciate you, Twin Man. I'm gonna get you out of here, and then I'm gonna get up out of here, man.
All right, I'll holler at you, boss.
All right, boss, man. Yeah, man, that was Twin Man, y'all, man. Appreciate that, man. Thanks everybody in the comments. I see people commenting on Facebook. Shout out to everybody, man. Thanks for joining me. As y'all know, this is the Friday night exposure with the Exposer, and I'm having fun. And I just wanted to bring some things into light, man, about Michael Jordan, man, because I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. Even my homeboys be wanting to talk to me about it. I'm tired of it, man. Y'all, I want somebody to bring up some real facts about Michael Jordan being the GOAT. 6 championships don't make him the GOAT. 6-0 don't make him the GOAT. 10 scoring titles don't make you the GOAT. And all those other nonsense. 3-peats. That's not even a record. A 3-peat is not a record. All right, y'all? Get it out your head. 3-peat is not a record. So can y'all please explain to me what makes Michael Jordan greater than every other player that plays the game other than you feeling like he's just the greatest player because you just feel like it? And that's all y'all give me. Y'all don't give me nothing else. But either way, y'all gonna catch us Sunday. We're gonna talk about LeBron James coming back for year 21. So we got the GOAT playing another great season for us. Hopefully he can give us an All-NBA season, which means he'll end up playing more than 65 games. He's gonna come in well rested, good to go. Let's see if Anthony Davis could be there. But we'll talk about that on Sunday. Thanks for everybody joining me. Shout out to everybody in the chat line. Shout out to our Facebook followers, everybody on YouTube. You can check us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You know who this is. This is the GOAT James Kingdom channel. I'm a Johnny Bakari, the Exposer. This is Friday Night Exposure. And we'll see y'all next Friday night where I'll bring up another topic. Well, actually, no, next Friday night I'm taking off. I'm not going to do next Friday. So I'll see y'all 2 Fridays from now. All right? But y'all have a great Friday night. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay beautiful. Peace and blessings, y'all. Oh, man, I tried to get on there the other day. I was actually up there, but I didn't get a chance to speak. They have a large platform. They got a lot of people that want to speak, and I didn't get a chance to speak. And I thought I could have dropped some knowledge, but I didn't get a chance. Maybe I'll get a chance one time, bro. I appreciate it, though. I appreciate it. Y'all let them know about us. Let them know. In them other groups chat, let them know, man. Hey, Johnny and Brandon, I'll come through with anybody. I'll expose anybody. I'm ready. Peace, y'all.